is happening? Hi, Paul. Just going to pour myself a drink. I'll try and make a better job of it than what I did last week. The concentration. And to help me see, I've even put my glasses on today. Joan, how do? Sean. Cheers, guys. Oh, we need to leave that settle a second. Right. Just while you're getting settled, guys, I'm just going to get our guest DJ into the green room. Guest DJ, guest photographer into the green room. 1 second. There you go. All these things that I've got to do. Right, back with you guys. Just have a quick look. Oh, we've got loads of people in now. Blimey, I turned me back for a quick second. My daughter's in today. She gave me a right rollicking last week. Hi, love. Got Vicky in. We got Dave in. Hi from Germany. Not sure if I mentioned it, but I lived in Germany for 3 years. Hi, Dave. Hi, John. Susan, Ian, Barry. No wine, but 2 cans of Stella. I'm loving that. Martin Carling. Hi, Gary Martin from Lytham St. Anne's. Good. And Susan says, I sound good. Of course I sound good. Maybe slightly less pervy than last weekend. Apparently I sounded like a ransom man. I had that ransom voice last week. I'm not quite sure what was happening. But my voice was, I don't know, it was just slowing down on the microphone. So I'm not really quite sure. Giuseppe, hi. Model Railway Noob, hello. You need to put your name on there so I can say hello to you as a person. Susan, hi. I just said Susan. Where are we? Mark. Hello, everyone. Happy Easter. That's from my daughters, wishing everybody a happy Easter, by the way. So you can all say happy Easter to each other in the comments if you wish. Just give it a couple of minutes before we get going, but we've got a packed show today. So I need to rush and crack on. Moin moin, says Derek. Raymond, hi. Hello from Scotland. Chawan. Hi Sticks, hi Edward, hi Jim Cook, hi guys, hi Jim. Okay, keep it coming, Tony. Happy Easter, everybody. You've all got to say happy Easter to everybody. Jason, how you doing, mate? You're making me want to drink again. Come on, Jason, grab a drink, mate. It's bank holiday weekend. There's no work for everybody. Woo! How doing, Jason, my good friend? Anyway, John Walker, hi from beautiful Yorkshire. And it is beautiful Yorkshire as well. Nova Scotia, Edward, Owen. Oh my God, there's so many people. I just thought about 30 or 40 people. Keep coming in, guys. Say hi, Gary from Surrey, Dorset. Ken, Chris, Joan again, Mark. Zip in Kent. I'm fine, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Robert Joseph, you inspired me as a photographer. Thank you very much indeed for saying. If I do all this just to inspire one person, then I feel as if I've accomplished something. So already you've made my night. Thank you, which is good because I'm not in a good mood. And I'll explain why in a second. Stephen Watts, hey up, Gary, looking good, mate. Of course I'm looking good. I had a shower this morning. What? Merry Christmas. I'll be the first, Barry Jones. Oh, now it's all going too quick. I believe as well that I can, if I organise this, I'm not sure how this will look, but I can actually put the chat up on the screen. It might be a little bit too confusing though, or it might be a bit cluttered. So, let's see how that looks. See, now everybody is saying happy Easter to everybody else, which is absolutely fantastic. Joan again, happy Easter all. Bob Davis, happy Easter everybody. SD Photography, hey Gary, happy Easter to all. Cheers. Simon, Chef Simon. Maybe I've had too many. It's my first one, I promise you it's my first. Hopefully as well, just in case you didn't know, last week I had some problems with my audio. I do apologise. I didn't know that, so I just carried on throughout the whole show without realising I actually had a problem with my audio. I do apologise about that. Let me know if the messages coming up on the screen, if they're a pain in the backside, let me know. I'll turn them off. But I just thought it might be a cool thing to do, just to show the fact that I'm technically sound even though I'm old, as my daughter keeps telling me on a daily basis. Happy Easter, Kathleen, Zeppa, Barbara, Add to Go. You're one of the very best teachers, Gary. Tony, cheers, Tony, cheers. Thank you very much indeed. There's actually, I'm just saying yes, thank you. It means an awful lot when somebody says that, but you really don't need to say it. Barry Jones is missing a loop. Barry, we all are, my good friend. Paul Farrell, hi Gary, last vlog was great, very informative for us newbies. Excellent. Happy Easter, everybody from Yorkshire, from Pontefract in Yorkshire. Pontefract. Hi from Ireland. Hi James. Hopefully everybody in Ireland is feeling well. In actual fact, wherever you are, I hope you're feeling well. While you're saying hi to each other, Falkirk, Cambridgeshire, Norfolk. God, so many. Let me just pop this up on the screen. Nobody's mentioned, by the way, if these comments up on the live screen is okay or not. If it's not, I can turn it off. It's AO to go. Okay, Bob, cheers. Thank you very much, Steve, from all your very kind comments. Thank you, mate. Watching in Bury in Lancashire. Why you've got to say Bury as well? Bury, you can't say Bury. You've got to say Bury. Really weird. Hi, John, by the way. Thank you. Louis, from the US of A. I'm not quite sure what time it is in the USA. Are they about just 4 or 5 hours behind? No need for the comments on your screen, Dad. We can all see them anyway. Sounds great too. Okay. See, now I've just been told off for my daughter. She texts me now and says, get rid of the comments on the screen. We don't need them. So there you go. Honest feedback is what we always need. Live screen, okay. Oh, now you see, now my daughter said turn it off. Now Barry Jones has said the live screen is okay. So now who do I believe? Do I believe you, Barry, or do I believe my daughter? Oh, I could have so much fun. I could have so much fun. Hi from Glasgow, the dodgy end. Hi, Derek. Prefer them off as they are already on YouTube. Okay, Barry. I'm going to go with Barry. Don't know why. Maybe it's because you're on the same side as my daughter. So there you go. I'm going to go with you, Barry. Right, listen. I'm trying to add a bit of structure to the show. So I'm going to try to do things in segments, and I promise you the pictures you've sent me loads of pictures. Thank you very much, Steve, for some critiquing, which I'll do. I'll do it in a very basic fashion, but I'll do it in an honest fashion. We'll come to that anyway, but thanks. So many of you sent some pictures, but I promise I haven't looked at them. I've just literally drag and drop them into a folder to have a look at. So coming up in this week's show, guess the quiz. Hopefully you guys guess the picture. Sorry, it's a quiz that I'm putting a few pictures together. Let's see how well it does today. If it's well received, I'll do some more next week. I'll do more and more of them next week. I want to throw a few pictures of various items I've taken around the house and the garden, and I've used my macro lens to obviously zoom in really close to grab just small bits of them. Apparently it was too difficult last week, so I've tried to make it a little bit easier this week, although one of them is a real bugger, and I apologize if you won't get it throughout different parts of the world. It'll all make sense in a second. Right, okay, so first of all, this is my script. Say hi, which is exactly what I'm doing now. Then we're going to go on to guess the picture. If you've not seen it before, I'm going to show you the questions at the beginning. I'll give you the answers later on. Then I'm going to go straight on to critiquing your pictures. Then I've got a guest interview. Then I'm going to interview a guest photographer. and it's Lynne Luxun-Jones. I'm really glad about that, actually, because I've got a burning question to ask Lynne. Lynne obviously is a vlogger and a very competent photographer, and she's just an all-round really, really lovely person. So she's going to be joining me in about 10 or 15 minutes time from now. But my burning question is, and I've decided to go back and look at the stats on my channel as well, and it's not, I mean, let's be honest, if I can't attract the women in, you know, I'm not quite sure who can. But they're quite damning, the stats, actually, because, well, I'll come on to the stats and I'll show you how few lady photographers or how few ladies actually watch photography-related vlogs, shall we say. So I've got an interesting question. Why aren't there more ladies? Basically, that's the question. Then I'm going to do a bit of post-processing. I promised you that last week I would do some post-processing. Then we're going to talk about a competition. I've got an interesting competition I'm going to try on you guys this week. It is open to everybody, but you can't win anything. But it's a competition. It's just for a bit of fun. I'm going to offer you my video recommendation of the week. I'm looking because I've got it up on a script. I'm going to show you some more nature pictures of a photographer I interviewed a couple of weeks ago. I'm just going to finalize the video and then I'm going to release it next week, but it's literally 2 minutes. I put a little slideshow together of some of his work and it's fantastic. Then we're going on to guess the picture quiz. I'm going to show you the answers. Then I'm going to talk to you about a free magazine subscription that you guys can get, which will tide you over during the period that we all find ourselves in at this present moment in time, with lots of time on our hands. So please stick around for that, because it really is worthwhile knowing. On top of that, if we've got time, and only if we've got time, then we might do a little bit of Q&A, just a little bit. But do me a favor, if you've got any questions, don't start throwing them down onto the comment section just yet. Just wait till the end of the show and then just ask. Otherwise, I'll miss them. And I got told off last week because it's very awkward when you do this, because everything is coming through to me 30 seconds afterwards. There's a massive delay. If I was to try and have a conversation with everybody on YouTube now, I would ask you a question, but you wouldn't get the question for 30 seconds. Likewise, once you answered it, I wouldn't get the reply until 30 seconds later. And how dull would that be? So that's it. We've got an awful lot coming up. An awful lot. But just to check. Okay, right. So let's have a quick look then. Let's go on to item number 1. Let's just double check and make sure everybody's there, because I've come off the screen. Right, I'm back on the screen again. Don't believe the daughter. Christopher. Hi from Formby. Hi, Gary from cloudy Bolton. Hello, Gary. Where in the UK is your second favourite place to shoot? See, the questions are already coming in now. Don't ask the questions just yet, but he didn't know. Where in the UK is your second favourite place to shoot landscape photography after Scotland? From Rich in York. It has to be the Lake District or North Wales or across on the East Coast. It's one of those. I'm not really sure, actually. I do spend a lot of time in the Lake District, so my second favourite place is probably likely to be, I mean, definitely Scotland is my number 1, but my number 2 is more than likely to be, I don't really know. A cross between the Lake District or Wales, but I'm spending more time in Wales just recently, so that might tell you something. I'm not really quite sure. But anyway, leave your questions, please, if you don't mind, until afterwards. What are you drinking? Looks like an old-fashioned stout. That's a good question. I'll take that question all day long. So I need my other screen up now, because otherwise I can't see what I'm showing you. Otherwise I'm looking at myself 30 seconds later. There you go, look. That's what I'm drinking, my friend. It even focuses. How fantastic is that? Right. So, Guinness. Hello from Croatia. Tanya. I so hope I said that right. I mean, how nuts is this? I'm speaking to somebody, or somebody's listening to me talking to them live from Croatia. Just crazy. Right, where was I? Right, okay, so let's start off with the first part. Let's try and stick to the script. Guess the item. Okay, questions. If I bring up my desktop now, there, like so, Just take a look at this, okay? I'll make it as big as I possibly can. That's the question I asked everybody during the week. I asked, have you noticed, by the way, I disabled the comment. So the question I posed to everybody was, what are these 4 items? Now, I thought all bar one of them is really, really, really easy. And I profusely apologize for probably number 4, because I've got a funny feeling nobody's going to guess number 4. Number 3, people might be a bit, is make desktop full. There you go. So just have a quick look at that. If you want to, you can put your answers down in the comments, and then I will give you the answers later on. So I think that's fair enough. But try and guess 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's just for a bit of fun. I'll give you the answers in a bit. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's close that. Let's go back to my script. Okay, critiquing your pictures. Just before I critique my pictures, and just to show you how it's going to work in a bit when we bring our guest photographer on for a bit of a chat, I'm going to have a live call in. Okay, make sure I can work this. So I now have the ability to have people call the studio, or obviously call where I am at the moment, and I'm going to chat with them live. Okay. Now, before I bring my guest photographer in, I'm going to bring my buddy on the line so you guys can see what it's like. So just bear with me a second. I'm going to drag him in. He might already be talking, so it might sound a bit weird, but 1 second. And just to show you how it's going to work. Gaza?
Hello.
Gaza, how you doing, mate? Do us a favour, just turn off that YouTube or mute it, please, in the background.
That's off now.
Otherwise, it could get very confusing. So everybody, this is Gary on the line. Gary is my, shall we say, he's my assistant when I do my workshops. But Gary also is my companion when I go out and about. Some of you might recognise his voice and his lovely charm and personality from a from a video I did just a few weeks ago when he tried to explain to everybody about the Sunny F11 rule. Gaz, how you doing, mate?
Good evening. We're absolutely fine.
Just so everybody knows, where are you located?
Just outside of Bath, on the border of Wiltshire and Somerset.
Okay. In the comments, by the way, if anybody wants me to put any subtitles in when Gary's talking, just please let me know, okay? Because Bath is actually a place called Bath.
Ouch. That hurt. That hurt.
Yeah, so Gary and I, we do we do a lot of photography together, Gaz, don't we? He's usually the man behind the camera, though, to be fair. I'm trying to get him to vlog, but he's not really that interested at the moment, although I think he might be weakening ever so slightly.
I am weakening slightly, but I'm only just managing to get my head around Lightroom, so the thought of Premiere Pro is sort of putting me off a little bit. It's holding me back. You
said earlier you just downloaded it.
I have downloaded it, and I've upgraded my subscription in the last couple of days because of all this spare time on my hands, but I've yet to sit down and actually look at it.
Well, there's only one thing you can do, and that's throw yourself into it and just get stuck in. That's the answer in reality. You can call me, but I'm not interested. I'll be out every time you call me.
I know, like I normally do for you.
I mentioned last week as well that Gary and I, at this present moment in time, we should have been fresh back from workshops up in the Isle of Skye, up in Glencoe. And where should we be heading probably this week, Gaz? Where were we planning on going?
We should be in your van driving down to the Eagle's Nest, which is about 1,000 miles away, just outside of Munich.
In Bavaria.
Yes.
But just so you guys know, I think I mentioned it last week, but that was my harebrained plan, was to head to, well, just literally get Google Maps and type into Google Maps, I want to head to Eagle's Nest in Bavaria, just because it's literally a destination for no other reason than that. And then my planning was that was it. That was literally my planning. And we were just going to drive from point A until we eventually ended up at point B or point Z, whichever. And then we were literally going to stop every time we saw something nice to take a photograph. And I thought it would be a cool thing to do, but it drove you mad, Gaz, didn't it?
It's very unorganised. Just hopping in the van is very unorganised. sort of cooked my head a little bit.
But the hardest thing about that, the one thing we were struggling with, is trying to figure out how two blokes can go from point A to point B and spend a week together in a van, but try and keep the cost to a minimum, because that was going to be the whole premise. The whole plan was, how can we get there and back as cheaply as possible? Now, sleeping obviously is what we're talking about here. That's going to be the issue, because I just have an ordinary van. I have a van that I can sleep in, but we didn't want to take two vehicles, did we?
No.
Did we overcome that? What was the didn't we say we were thinking about staying in hostels or something?
We.
Was that the cheapest?
I think. Well, we didn't actually get so far as work out. I think the cheapest would have been flying and then hiring a car. But then you're very banged, aren't you? You're very tied. You don't have the freedom to. You've got timetables and things to do. So yeah, but the planning, we didn't get past heading off in the van. Really, sleeping behind a wall.
That was one of the plans that we discussed, wasn't it? One person sleep in the van and the other person would rough it outside, and then we'd swap places, because the van quite literally is only big enough for one. Gary does actually have a massissive camper, but then it would have been so expensive to drive 1,000 miles, obviously, and back, and so on and so forth. So it'd have been just too expensive. Yeah, all right, Gaz. Well, what's your plans now, mate? How are you filling your time?
At the moment, is doing all them odd jobs around the house that you've been putting off for years.
Right.
Getting the garden ready for the summer. I want to get all that out the way so they can then lock myself in my little study room.
Right.
And learn something new.
Okay.
Bit of Flash, bit of Macro, bit of Premiere Pro is how I intend to spend the next few weeks.
How are you getting on with the missus?
It's doing good. We've got a big house with lots of rooms.
There's your answer. So I'm guessing, judging by that answer, she's going to be listening later on. Is that right, Gaz?
She might be doing that.
She might be listening now, in which case 30 seconds from now, Gaz, she might be there with a carving knife.
Down the stairs.
Well, listen, mate, thanks for coming on. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I know we pretty much speak every day anyway, and fingers crossed, maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks down the line, we might well be planning that trip.
Hopefully we'll get something. We'll get something done this summer.
Cool. All right, Gaz, well, just say happy Easter to everybody before I dump your sorry ass.
You've just cut out on me.
Oh, really? Oh, well, just say happy Easter. Just say happy Easter to everybody before I dump your sorry ass.
Happy Easter, everybody, and Gary, a pleasure as always.
Cheers, mate. I'll speak to you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, Gaz. Oh, I dumped him. Right, okay. So let's very quickly. I've got to critique your pictures, but I want to just bring up one thing. One thing that I don't very often get annoyed. I'm generally a nice person, and I don't really get many negative comments on my videos, if I'm honest. Not because I make nice videos, maybe it's just because, I don't know, I just don't get many negative comments. But I got a negative comment yesterday, but I got a negative comment from a fellow professional photographer, and it really wound me up, especially because the negative comment I got from him was grossly wrong, and it really, really, really upset me. But rather than dump it, or rather than send him a mail, I replied to his obnoxious comment live. I've just left it. Sorry, should I say? I've left it on one of my videos. I'm going to share that with you now. Let's bring this up. Okay, let's have a quick look at this 1 second, because I just want to share this comment with you. If I come on to comments, I get nothing but really, really nice comments. No, in actual fact, I'll just go straight on to the video. And the video was Get Off Auto. I created a new video for anybody out there that might be struggling with their their settings. You know, if you're new to photography, what on earth is aperture, ISO, and shutter speed? So I made just a very friendly, I thought it was a nice video, which basically explains to new camera owners what all your settings do. And there's a lot of hullabaloo around this thing called ISO. And I received this comment, and the comment is from a guy by the name of Marcus McAdam. Now, what's really annoying about this is I have a lot of time for Marcus. Marcus is a professional photographer, and he works and lives in the Isle of Skye. His work is first rate, should I say, and he's a brilliant photographer. But then out of the blue, he sent me this message, or he left a message on my channel, not even a PM to me. ISO does not stand for International Standards Organization. Please do your research before making videos. Now, bear in mind, I've been a professional photographer for nearly 20 years, and I've been teaching photography for the past 12 years. I have a sizable studio, and I pretty much know my way around a camera, and I know, anyway, to receive such an obnoxious comment, especially from a fellow professional, it just really hit home, especially because, listen, right, in case you weren't aware, I said ISO stands for International Standards Organization. If you Google it, it stands for International Organization of Standardization, which is exactly the same as what I said. It's exactly the same. And it just so annoys me how people get so et up with the technicality of this and the technicality of that. At the end of the day, it's irrelevant when it comes to things like the ISO, whether the ISO is something your camera adds after you take a picture. We don't care about how our engine works. What we want to know is how we can control the car. And it just drives me insane that people would say such a thing. And I've got a list of photographers who I want to invite onto the show, like I'm going to do with Lynne in a second. And the idea is I want to interview them live. And he was one of these such guys. He was one of these guys who I was going to interview. Oh, man. It really sucks. But I'm leaving it on there. You can have a look later on if you want to. But don't go on there and start leaving bad comments, because I'm not putting it there for that very reason. I'll probably dump it later just in case, because I just don't want that to happen at all. But anyway, right, okay. I've just seen a comment there. Murray. Hi, folks. Ignore him. He's been a pain in the ass. Right. Murray, stay there. Do not move. Do not move. Right. We've got Murray, by the way, that I've just noticed in the comments. I do apologise. We've got Murray. I did a video with Murray, and I interviewed Murray a short while ago, and the bugger made me climb a mountain. And just so that I could interview him. A nicer bloke you will not find. But look. Coming up, I've got a video recommendation of the week. It says there. I mentioned it earlier on. I'm going to do that video recommendation now. Where's my notes? Don't move. It's not easy doing this. My video recommendation of the week. We're down here. Right. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. 1 second. Let's bring my screen up for you guys. Now you guys can see my screen. Right. Okay. So, Murray, I'm glad you're here, because my video recommendation of the week, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, then I'll leave the link below. As soon as we finish, I'll add all these links that I'm going to talk about today. Let's get rid of these adverts. I'm going to leave the link to this video below, but if you don't know, winter hiking in the mountains through deep snow. This is a video on Scotland's mountains. Now, the reason why I want to make this video of the week, okay, I'm going to skip past all this because I've got a certain time on here. Bear with me a second. Okay, I've got to watch it from 4 minutes and 14 seconds. So I'm going to zoom on because I want to just explain why I love this video. And it might be a bit of an insight to you guys. Maybe you watch our videos. When I say our videos, maybe you watch people like Murray's videos and not actually give the credit that these guys deserve. Right. So I know you guys can see this on the screen now, but let me pause it there for a second. Murray is struggling to walk up this really steep incline. And it is steep. Now, he's a super fit guy, so when you see him struggling, you'll know that he's really struggling. But look, between here, or between where the camera's perspective is and where Murray's standing, there is no footprints. Watch. So that means, just for pure dedication to make his videos right, he's had to go ahead of himself like there. Now, look at that steep incline there. And yet, he's had to go way ahead of himself to create... I mean, look how deep that snow is there. And all I wanted to say there is it's amazing the dedication people like Murray go through to bring us fantastic videos. And I think that deserves a round of applause. There you go, Murray. So that's only a tiny bit, by the way. The video itself is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to switch that off. So there you go. So that is my recommendation of a video of the week. Why can't you see my screen? Oh, no. Not on the screen, Gary. Can't see the screen. Right, I'm getting told off now. 1 second, guys. There you go. Desktop full screen. Okay. Apologise about that, guys, everybody. Let me just very quickly show you this video again. Doo-be-doo-doo. Everybody's telling me off now, look. Everybody's telling me off. Vicky, do me a favour. Just text me and confirm you can see it now. Right. So hopefully, let's just double check. Yes. Hopefully you guys can now see my screen. So I apologise about that. So I'm going to let this run. And the point I was making is you probably already got the point I was making. But now you can see Murray filming. Is if I pause it there, you can see how difficult that climb actually is. Can't see the screen. Oh no. Yes, got it now. Yes, it's showing. Oh my God. My daughter's saying it's not showing and everybody else is saying it's showing. Right, okay, let's go back to that. I apologise, okay. I had this flawless. I've been practicing this through the week as well. Can see it now, it's all good. That's from my daughter. Thank you, Doc. Right, okay. So let's go back to the video then. And the point I was going to make is this. Murray's a super fit guy and he's really struggling to climb up here. But between where Murray is and the camera perspective, there's no footprints. That means just for the art of photography and creating vlogs, Murray's actually taken a long way round, set the camera up. Bear in mind, at this point, he's up a mountain. He's going to be knackered. He's then gone back just so he can film himself walking back up. And that's no easy feat. There, look at that. Obviously, this in reverse. He's setting it up, then he's walking up. And that's why we always say every time we climb a mountain as vloggers, we climb it twice. Because he has to go up there on that virgin snow and then he's going to have to come back. There you go. I'll pause it there. Okay, guys, apologise about that. But there you go. So that is, well, a round of applause. Let's do that again. So thanks a lot, Murray. The actual video itself is fantastic, by the way. But I just wanted to use that as the reason, well, it's the reason why I think that should be video of the week. It's just because I just wanted to point it out to you guys. I'm sure most of you already know that anyway. But it is quite a difficult thing to do when you're out vlogging and when you want to bring the viewers along with you, because otherwise you keep the vlogging camera in your pocket, climb at the top of the mountain, then get the vlogging camera out. But of course that means then you haven't brought the viewers along with you. And so well done, Murray. And I know Murray's here as well. So I will leave the link to that video down below once we've finished with the broadcast. Thanks a lot, Murray. Wow, it looks deep. Brilliant video, Murray. Yes, it is. That looks hard work, Gary. It is. That's why I'm sat here not doing it, and he's the one climbing the mountains. Just for this, I'm going to subscribe to his channel. Cheers, Rick. I'm not on commission, by the way, and he honestly, he hasn't asked me to say that, but I do have it down as my video of the week. Right. So I've got lots of things to do, lots of things to cram in, but what I'd like to do now, let's just very quickly see if my guest photographer is there. Okay, so when we've all finished blowing smoke up Murray's backside in the comments, I'm now going to introduce you to my guest photographer, my guest interviewee, and it's Lynne Luxun-Jones. Let's bring Lynne in. Lynne.
Good evening.
Good
Evening, Gary. How are you?
I thought we were going to get some technical problems there. I'm very good, Lynne. Thank you for being here. Let me just bring a little picture of you up on the screen so all the lads can drool. Just 1 second.
It's a good job you can't see me. I'd be blushing.
Well, where are you, Lynne? Lynne Luxun-Jones is here. Let's pop that up on the screen there, and let's get the desktop up. Okay, so webcam. Let's go desktop and webcam. So there you go. This is Lynne Luxun-Jones. Who are you, by the way, Lynne? Are you the Luxun or are you the Jones?
I'm the Jones. It's a very complicated story, but I blame my mother.
So
it's all my mother's fault.
A name like Jones, and you decided to keep it?
I didn't have any choice, unfortunately.
Right.
When mother speaks, that's it. You do as you're told.
How are you, my lovely? You all right?
Absolutely marvellous.
What have you been doing with yourself apart from pulling your hair out?
I don't know. I'm decorating.
Oh, yeah.
And painting garden fences and cleaning windows.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So really exciting stuff like that then.
Oh, yes.
And what's your partner doing?
Keep smiling.
All right. What's your partner doing?
Oh, no, there isn't one.
Oh, is it not?
I had a partner and I part exchanged him for a motorbike. It was a really good move.
Maybe I should make your picture bigger then. You might get some fan mail after this.
There's no one out there nutty enough to put up with me, my dear. Sure.
Okay, well, listen, if just in case you don't know who Lynne is a fellow photographer and YouTube vlogger. But the reason I've been a fan of Lynne's for a long, long time, we've spoken in the past quite a bit, haven't we, Lynne, back and forward?
We have indeed, yes.
And I've always said how much I admire you and your work and so on and so forth. But I wanted to get you on today because I've got a burning question to ask. And the burning question, obviously, it's in the title, so people know exactly what I'm going to ask, is why aren't there more female photographers? Moreover, why aren't there more female vloggers?
That's something I've asked myself quite a few times. I think a lot of it is to do with maybe confidence.
Okay.
You're going out, I mean, I'm lucky in that because I'm on my own, I don't have to worry about anything. A lot of women have partners, kids, and their lives revolve around that, so they struggle to get out. A lot of them will have confidence, and a lot of the females I know have confidence problems talking at a camera.
Okay. I get that.
They don't necessarily think they've got anything that they can contribute. And it is quite intimidating because the majority of photographers these days are male.
Okay.
So it's very much a male-dominated industry.
It is, but that's only through choice. That's not because no one's allowing girls to pick up cameras, ladies to pick up, women to pick up cameras. That's not the case at all, because anybody can start a YouTube channel. So that's really down to obviously you as a person. I totally get the kids thing, by the way. Absolutely, I'm not that daft. But yeah, I mean, look, just have a quick look. You can't see this, but I'll bring this up on the screen because I went down into my stats to look, so everybody can see this now. If I go full web, there, 1 second. Now, these are people who follow me, and male is 93.5%. So 93.5% of everybody who follows me is a man.
It's pretty similar figures to me, although I am now starting to get a few more females.
Oh, yeah.
A few more ladies coming on board, yeah.
It's just a bit the age thing I get, because if you look here now, guys, if you look at the age thing, I've got basically 13 so kids is only 3.8%. I get that, because it is interesting to look at the back end, the stats sometimes. 25 to 34-year-olds are only 10%. Basically, the bulk of people who watch my channel, I don't know what it's like with you, Lynn, but the bulk is really 45 to 65. If you're 45 to 65, so that means you guys that are currently watching now, in theory, most of you guys will be in that age bracket. I'm not saying everybody is, but most of you will be in that age bracket. Do you find that's the same for you, Lynn?
Pretty similar, yeah. It tends to be my generation of people, and I'm
What 30s?
Thanks, Gary. Love
You're
you.
welcome. Yeah, love you too. Just while we're here, by the way, I'm not sure if you've ever checked in the back end, but 37% of everybody who watches me is from the UK, but 19% of everybody who watches my channel is from the United States. That's quite a lot. That's 20% of everybody pretty much who watches my channel are from the United States. I think that's excellent. Australia, Canada, Germany, Croatia, they all get a mention on there as well. How fantastic is that?
From Australia, I've got a couple from New Zealand, from Spain, Italy. And it blows my mind how global it is.
Okay, so let's talk about you and vlogging then. Roughly what gear do you use, Lynn?
Oh, mate, I'm really, really technical with my vlogging gear. I have a Samsung S5 phone.
Right, so you do it with your phone. Okay.
I do that. That's normally my face-to-face vlogs.
Okay.
Any B-roll that I do, anything where you're watching me do something, is an SJ cam.
Okay.
It's like a mini GoPro.
Okay.
I have what do they call them? A lavalier lav mic.
Lav mic, yeah.
Very, very basic. I've got a Smooth Q gimbal, which I have a love-hate relationship with. It hates me, and I'm not so keen on it either.
Okay, so that's what you use for stability with your Samsung phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. I haven't gone down the route of buying Rhodes or the Zoom H1s or something like that.
Sure, or expensive
it's
gear.
It's a hobby for me. I do it for me.
Okay.
So it's a very basic setup.
Okay. And obviously, because you like your equipment and you like really good equipment, what Canon camera do you use?
Pardon? Did you say? Oh, Nikon, you said. I thought that's what you said, yeah.
What do you shoot with?
No, I'm Nikon crop sensor D7200.
Okay, I like it when people say they mention crop sensor as if it's like a negative thing.
Nope, I'm quite proud of it.
Good, fantastic, because it's not negative in any way, shape or form. At the end of the day, a camera is a camera is a camera. In actual fact, the most ironic thing is we've got Murray that hopefully is still with us now, Scotland's Mountains.
Hi,
and he's a vlogger. And when I went vlogging with him, I looked back, because obviously I was miles ahead of him all the time because I'm so much fitter. When I look back, Murray is taking pictures with his with his camera.
Yeah.
On his phone.
They're awesome, aren't they?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it just goes to show now that, God, it's not about the camera gear, especially if you're going to be a vlogger. It's so much about the storytelling, because you can have the best gear in the world, but if you can't tell a story, or if you're miserable, or if you sound miserable, or if you're boring on camera, you could be the best photographer in the world. You'll never make it as a vlogger. Wherefore, on the other hand, you could be super entertaining, but a rubbish photographer, but make it as a vlogger.
Yes.
So the most important thing to point out here now, it's not really about the camera and camera gear. Where's your... Go on.
I've had somebody today ask me, do they think going full frame is a good idea? And I said, well, depends what you want out of your photography. I'm never going to have my images blown up to billboard size.
Yeah.
My little Nikon is still way better than I am.
Sure.
When I outgrow it, then I'll go full frame. Possibly.
Sure.
There's no point. D7200 is a corking little camera. It's the nut behind the lens causes the problem, normally.
It's so true, though. I was doing, or I've been doing some one-to-one critiquing and one-to-one training on Skype this week. And somebody said, oh, Gary, while I've got you here, I want to ask you a question. I want to upgrade my camera, but he did have a really entry-level camera, to be fair. Takes fantastic pictures. And he said, I want to get a better camera. And everybody tells me I should go full frame. And I was the opposite. I said, no, you really don't need to go full frame. No. Just have a look around, try and decide what your budget is, and then try and get the best for your money, the best bang for your buck. That's what I reckon you should do, because it's not about whether it's a crop sensor or whether it's a micro four thirds. Or whether it's a mirrorless or a mirrored camera. It's not that nowadays. In actual fact, I said to him, my reply was, do yourself a favour and try and do this. Try and spend £600 on a crappy camera. Try and get the worst camera you can possibly buy for £600. Let's say your budget was £600. Okay, might be £1,000, doesn't really matter. But I said, try and go out with £600 in your back pocket and try and buy a crappy camera. And they just don't exist. They don't exist.
No. It's always better investing your money in good lenses.
Absolutely. So it's very, very, very difficult to just turn around and say now, you should use full frame. You shouldn't use, crop sensors. You shouldn't use mirror. It's nonsense nowadays. It's absolutely nonsense. Yeah, I've got no problem with any of them. Where do you like to shoot, Lynn? Where's your place of choice?
My happy place is the coast. I don't care what coast it is, so long as the tide's right. I've got an urge to go back down south because the south coast of the UK is just amazing. It blew my mind when I was down in the New Year.
All right, okay.
The west coast out towards the Wirral.
Okay.
Because I'm really into my minimal stuff at the moment. Some fabulous sea defences and markers. Okay. Oh, blows my mind. But anywhere at the coast, that's where I'm happiest. I love it.
Do you have a bad vlogging experience? I've got so many. Do you have a bad vlogging experience?
I did a vlog a little while ago. I was watching it last night, bizarrely, about how disastrous a day could be in terms of photography.
Yeah.
I once recorded an entire vlog down on the southeast coast. I can't remember where I was. And I didn't have any volume recording at all because I didn't plug the mic in properly. So I'm rattling on 19 to the dozen. I was ecstatic because the sunset was glorious. And I got home. I didn't check my recordings. I got home and thought, oh, sugar, what am I going to do now? So I had to kind of voice over it and guess at what I was whittling about. That's the worst that's ever happened so far.
Most of the people who watch me on YouTube would probably be thankful if I went out and did a vlog without a microphone. Thank heavens for that. Watching him is one thing. Watching and listening, that's another thing.
I'm definitely better volume off sometimes because I do tend to waffle.
When all this is over, where's your number one destination?
Oh, God. I have a plan to go to the south east coast of Scotland. Now, that's planned for June, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm governed by the tide. So as soon as I know lockdown's lifted and I don't have to work, because the minute lockdown's lifted, we're at work, they're talking about opening us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to clear the backlog. Okay. So my time is going to be limited, but it will be wherever the tide is right at the coast, and I don't care where that is. So it will just be nice to get out.
So the southeast coast of Scotland, you said? Is that what you said?
Up near Anstruther, yeah.
Realistically, I think that's Edinburgh up, isn't it? Or Edinburgh, around about that area.
If you're thinking of the north coast, the Northwest 500.
Yeah.
But I want to go over to the east side.
Okay. And
start and go around that way. Just because I like to be different to other people. I'm sure there's some glory. In fact, there are some glorious spots that I've seen there. But so long as there's water, I don't care.
As long as there's water. Right, Lynn, just before you disappear, you've sent me some pictures. I'm going to bring some of these pictures up on the screen now so everybody can see. And you've sent us your top 5. Hopefully, I should be able to do this in reverse order. I'm not quite sure. 1 second. Let's just do it like this. What's this? Okay, let's just do us a favour then.
Okay.
Hopefully you can remember because you can't actually see these pictures.
Okay.
But if I do,
I've got them on my laptop, Gary. Don't worry, I'm watching them.
Okay, so the first. Okay, we'll say the first one. Let's go. Let's work in reverse order. I asked Lynne to send me her best 5 pictures or her favourite 5 pictures from last year, and in 5th place you've got a swirly whirly purple flower.
I apologise profusely. I am completely hooked on twirling. This image actually started off as a peacock.
All right.
And I've actually got this coming on print on acrylic. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun and it's so therapeutic.
Yeah.
Have a go at twirling, Gary.
No, I've done it. I've on one of the videos I've got loads of twirling pictures on there. I was going to do a video tutorial on twirling because quite literally you can turn any picture into a work of art, which
Definitely.
is exactly what you've done here now. And of course you can't ever tell that that's a peacock, but in terms of a bit of abstract art for your wall in your house, it's fantastic and it takes seconds to do.
Yeah, God, yeah. And every time is different. I've got 4 different images out of the peacock.
Cool. Okay. So let's move on from that. Let's go to number 4 then. This is number 4. I love number 4.
Gough in Italy, the Dolomites.
Right. Okay. That
has to be my favourite place in the world, I think, now. I had a week over there, 7 days. And even in bad weather, it was good.
Yeah.
And Gough is a photo every 600 yards. It's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Isle of Skye, actually. The rugged rocks and
Have you been?
Mountains. No, I've never been there, actually. I've never been.
Go.
Yeah, no, I'll have to go.
God, yes.
Yeah, these are the sort of places I was going to go with Gary this year, actually, and hopefully it will still materialise. This is the sort of thing where I want to go and drive. Because quite literally, from my doorstep, I can jump in my van, obviously, because the tunnel now exists and I can drive. I don't want to fly. I want to drive. The whole premise of it is, or the whole fun of it to me, is actually arriving at a place like this in your vehicle that you stepped in Huddersfield.
Well, when you go, shout up, I'm in.
Oh, hello.
I'm in. I've got Maddie. I want the road trip down to Italy because there's so many places to stop on the way. But yeah, that's on the agenda for some point.
Yeah, I just have to pass it with the wife.
Well, we'd be in separate vehicles. I'm perfectly safe.
Oh, it doesn't matter then. Not interested in it then. That's number 4. Let's bring up number 3. Okay. Love this. Why is this number 3?
Number
really
3,
minimalistic.
my dragon's eggs. That was a particularly bizarre morning at Hornsea.
Okay.
And I had never been there before.
Okay.
I went to scout out a 1-to-1 location.
Okay.
That came up and I just turned around, the light was right, and going through my minimal phase. And as soon as I saw those rocks, I just thought dragon's eggs, because I'm a bit peculiar like that, you see.
Dragon's eggs.
And I visualized immediately how it was going to look when I converted it into mono. If you've never read a series of books by an authoress called Anne McCaffrey, the Fern series, read them.
Okay.
She will bring those dragon's eggs to life for you. She's amazing.
Brilliant. I like that. Let's go on to number 3. Number 3. Oh, now that's really, really nice. Where's that?
Number 3. Oh, hold on. I'm just...
Number 3 is there. They're all the breakwaters. Again, very minimalistic. You've got 4 lines of breakwaters going off into the abyss.
Wallasey.
Wallasey
at high tide. That is some place.
Okay,
I've
I
got
like
a colour
that.
version of that image as well. And it was, again, a project I'd started, mono, minimal and long exposure. And that was one of the locations that I desperately wanted to visit.
Okay. I love that. People were just telling me then that they couldn't see, or Vicky was just telling me that they couldn't see that one picture then. 1 second. That's all technical stuff. No, it should be there. Should be able to see it. Vicky, you should be able to see it, my lovely. Everybody
it's there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can see it, can't you?
And I know your listeners have no concept of what you've done to get this live. It's phenomenal, Gary.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's like-
Absolutely phenomenal.
And I've still got technical problems, and because I've got technical problems, I might be losing people I don't really know. But let's just battle on. The idea is we've got to battle on, Lynn. Yeah, I love that. That is right up my street. That's my style of photography. It's quite minimalistic. I love exactly what you've done. No horizon, off into the abyss. And again, you know, if you're into your abstract photography or your minimalistic photography, or your fine art photography, then that would look really, really nice on your wall. That is brilliant. So let's get rid of that. Now let's bring up your number one and just tell me why this is your favorite picture from last year. Where was it?
That is, if it's the one I'm seeing, it's the rocks at White Beach on the Isle of Man. It was blowing a hoolie. There was no colour, but the rocks, as you can see, had just got a little bit of greenery at the top. And it took some work in post, but I got it out, and I'd been after an image of that type due to following Neil Bennell. And I absolutely adore Neil's work. He is awesome.
Perfect.
And yeah, that's getting printed and framed. I love that image.
Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely shot.
Scary walk to get down there as well. But the Isle of Man is stunning.
Can you remember what your shutter speed was on that?
Absolutely no idea. I know it was a long exposure. Probably no more than about 50 to 60 seconds. Let me see if I can...
No, I was just wondering. You can always tell by the clouds, but there's not much detail in the clouds. But I love that picture. It's very, very again, very abstracty, very minimalistic. So you love your...
into that. That's my thing at the moment. Abstract, minimal.
So you're loving your 6 or 10 stop filter?
Oh God, yeah, I couldn't live without them. I'm trying to move away from them, but I keep getting drawn back to them.
Okay. Cool. That is fantastic. Right. Right then, Lynn. That's it, my lovely. Short and sweet. I just wanted to have a chat with you live. Hopefully, guys out there will check out your channel, and if they think your content is worthy of it, which obviously it is, then they might give you a like and a follow. But
awesome. It's been great chatting to you, Gary. Thank you so much. And we need to get more women in this business, that's for certain.
Yes, we do. Well, I think that's why God put me on this earth. Lynn can't see me doing that, by the way. She'll see it later on and proper cringe. I tell you, I just give one of my, in theory, sexy looks into the camera. I'm just waiting for another text now from my daughter. Dad, don't do that. I'm just waiting for a text to come up now from my daughter. Lynn, thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for being my number one guest. Thank you. Oh no, Lynn, have I lost you? Already a sub of Lynn's. Sorry, Gary, my laptop just died. Oh, no, that's from Lynn. Lynn, of all the times for your laptop not to die. Oh, my God. Thank you, Lynn. Right, okay, so let's dump Lynn now then. She's gone. She's back in the green room. And her laptop just died. I can't believe it. Right, so there you go. That's Lynne Luxun-Jones. Like I said, I will leave a link to Lynn's YouTube channel down below in the comments as soon as this is finished. I'm going to leave this live broadcast up so you guys will be able to check it out. Right, but I'm going to get myself another drink. So do me a favor. I'm probably going off script again, but I've got a video that I'm going to release of an interview that I did actually a couple of weeks ago now, but I'm going to make it my goal probably tomorrow to post-process it, and I will release it in the middle of next week. It's a photographer that lives in Kenya. A few of you have tried to guess who he is because his work is similar, but it isn't. Okay, it's not who you think it is. In actual fact, if I bring it up on here, let's just dump Lynn's stuff now. Okay. Doopy doo doo, doopy doo 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 doo. A lot of people think that his work, or it is David Yarrow. I'm not interviewing David Yarrow, and it's not David Yarrow's work. But just to give you a little tease, I'm going to just show you 2 minutes worth of this man's work, which is tremendous. So hopefully it should come across well. If I make it full screen, do me a favor, sit back and relax. It's literally for 2 minutes. Then we'll come back and we'll do some critiquing of your work. This is just a small sample of somebody's work I'm going to introduce you guys to next week. You guys still there? How awesome, how awesome, how awesome, how awesome was that? I've known of this guy for a while. I've touched base with him and he's graciously allowed me to interview him. I've put together this interview. Even though it's an interview that we did on Skype, I asked him to record himself locally. I've recorded myself locally, so when we put it together, it'll be really, really nice footage. So it'll be full HD footage of me and him, and it'll come across really well. And we're going to discuss all of those pictures, about how he takes his pictures. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but a lot of his pictures are taken from a very, very, very low perspective, really, really, really up close, and also complete opposite, really, really high up. And that is just a very, very small sample of his work, and it's brilliant. And he's such a nice guy. I had a lovely, lovely chat with him. So I'll release that video next week. Let me just look at the comments coming through, guys, before we move on. All photos taken in Huddersfield. Cheers, Tony. She's back. I always look forward to Lynne's vlog. We're talking about Lynne. Yeah, a lot of love on there for Lynne as well. Beautiful close-up shots. Good. I'm glad you guys have been able to see all that. So I'll be interviewing, I've interviewed him. I'll put that video out next week. But next week's photographer I've got lined up. He's a photographer who photographs in the Tetons. So he has a massive YouTube channel and I've been a massive fan of his for a long time now. We've chatted back and forth and so on and so forth, but graciously he's offered his time to come on this channel and have a chat with you guys live. That is what we're going to be doing next Sunday. So he's my guest for next Sunday. Okay, where are we now? Hopefully you guys are still with me. Let's do the answers. No, let's not do the answers. Let's do the free magazine subscription. No, let's not do that either. We've done the nature photography. We've done the video recommendation of the week. What about a competition? Let's throw this at you. Let's throw this at you guys. Let's go back onto my webcam. Okay, guys. Right. I'm going to chuck a picture at you. I've got a competition. On the screen now, you could see a picture that's been taken by a gentleman I had a long conversation with called Tremaine. His name is Tremaine and he lives in Canada. And we were just chatting about his work. And there was a particular picture that I saw and I liked. Now, this picture has been taken in JPEG. He shot this before he was really into photography and he didn't really understand what RAW was all about. But JPEGs are still good. They're still fantastic medium to play around with. So what I've asked him to do is to give me this picture so that I can give it away. Because the one thing that's really annoying about this picture, and he knows it himself, because like I say, he took it on a pretty much on an Instamatic camera. Was it as a? I'll tell you what it is now. 1 second. I did write it down somewhere, but it's not really that important. Okay. It was a very small Instamatic camera, and it's quite an old picture now as well. But the sky's missing. So what I want to do as a competition, I want to put this or make this image available for everybody to download. So I'm going to put a download link in the description of this video below. So anybody who wants to download it, play around with it, then email it to me. So gary@garygough.co.uk. Email me whatever you decide to do with the picture. You can do anything with the picture. You can change the sky, convert it to black and white. I don't want to give you no, I'm just going to let you guys do what you want to this picture, and I'll show the best 3 next week, and then the competition is I'll choose what I consider to be my favorite, and then I'll offer you the reasons why. But it's a really nice picture, but it's taken with a handheld camera. I think it's about 8 or 9 megs, so there's still a lot of detail in there, by the way. I think it's 350 DPI, but the sky is missing. Obviously, with a JPEG file, you can't bring that sky back, but that lends itself perfectly for a sky change. So if anybody wants to download the image, have a bit of a play with it. Don't be embarrassed, even if you're new to photography and you want to have a go. No one's going to have a go at you, and then just email it back and we'll have a bit of a competition and see how well you guys can manipulate that image. So Tremaine, thank you very much indeed for your generosity, for allowing me to give your picture away for people to play around with it. So Tremaine, thank you very much indeed. But there you go, that's the image. It's really nice actually. I'm not even going to tell you what Tremaine did to this picture, because he did something that I thought was quite cool. So I'm just going to leave it a mystery, and I'm going to let you guys, if you want to participate, download it and see what you guys can come up with. So that's a little bit of a competition. Let me talk to you now about, just very briefly, competition, live post-production. I promise you some post-production. Gary, get on with the post-production for heaven's sake. Okay, so let's go back to the desktop. There's the desktop, and let's have a look. And this is probably very uninspiring, but let me show you how I post-process my work, only because I promised I would post-process my an image that I took of the moon a few days ago. So fingers crossed you guys are still watching. But let me give you an example of what I do for my post-processing work. Like I say, it might be quite shocking, but first of all, I don't use Lightroom. And those of you who follow me on my channel, you know I don't use Lightroom, but I use ACR. ACR is Adobe Camera Raw, which is a pre-Photoshop screen. So everything I'm doing now in ACR, you can do in Lightroom. So if you are a Lightroom fan, most of you probably will be, then please don't worry. Whatever I do now, which isn't a lot, by the way, then you can actually do that in Lightroom until I start adding elements. Obviously, you haven't got layers in Lightroom. Okay, so I'm in Bridge now. I'm looking at the image. And I'm just going to open this one image up into ACR. Like I say, everything on the right hand side here is laid out. It's the same engine and everything as Lightroom. So let's first of all, let's make sure everything is off. Okay, so everything now is reset. And that is a flat image that's come off my camera. I think the only thing that I've done is actually cropped in. So there you go. So as you can see there, that's with an 800mm lens, and that's the crop that I'm currently using. There, I'll leave it as desktop and webcam. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this and let's just show you what I do with this image. First and foremost, I'm going to come up to the lens correction tab up here, and I'm going to check the remove chromatic aberration and enable lens profile correction. It's very difficult for me to see as well because I've got a very bright light on me. So let's have a quick look at this image. Now the first thing I want to look at while I'm in this tab here is I want to have a look at any defringing. That's what's really important to me. So I'm going to zoom in to this image here. Let's move the vibrance up. Let's move the saturation up. Okay. I apologize, I have made some adjustments on here earlier, but let's put it all back to where it was there. That's roughly where it all was. Okay, so now let me show you what I do. If you look here, you can have a look on the edges there and you can see, hopefully you guys can see it, there is some defringing going on up here, and for you to see that really is push the vibrance, push the saturation up. Now you can see that blue line and the purple and the green? So how we overcome that, because it's really important. So if anybody does get a lot of defringing on their images, then what you need to do is, even though you're okay, let's move that across here. Let's just double check that just to make sure. I'm just being told that my controls aren't showing. All right, okay, just going to move that across here so you guys can see it. Hopefully now you guys can see it. Apologize if you can't, but see, I'm finding out live now that we've got a few problems. Right, okay, so now if you have a look at this, so I've clicked on the remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. You've got that in Lightroom as well. But simply by turning the saturation and vibrance up, you can now see that there is that awful blue, green, purple hue on there. How we overcome that is simply this. Because it's blue, then I'm going to blue stroke green. I'm going to come to my blue stroke green slider down here, and I'm going to move it to the right hand side. So that will now take care. How far can I go? About there you go. I've zoomed in an awful lot. I'm 200%, so you wouldn't see that anyway. And I'm now going to make some slight adjustments here just to ensure that the blue and the purple, let's take care of the purple as well. There you go. That's now taking care of the majority of it. Obviously, if I now bring my saturation or my vibrance, and if I reset my vibrance and my saturation, you can see now it's all gone. Okay. Let's reset these. All right, okay. So now hopefully you guys can see this. Let's zoom in once again. It's really awkward doing all this. There you go. So that's my moon. All I'm going to do now, quite literally, is raise the exposure ever so slightly. Like I say, this is going to be really, really exciting. And now I want to just bring out the darks and the light. So let's move my black slider to the left-hand side. Let's try and dig out or exaggerate some of the darks on there, the shadows as well, and let's push the whites to the right hand side to push the whites out, and then add a little bit of contrast. And that's it. Now, all I'm going to do now is my dehaze, I might push ever so slightly to the right. I don't like pushing that too far. And my clarity slider, I'm going to push it around about 15. And so is this. It's going to be the same with my texture as well. And that's it. That's all I'm looking at. My white balance. Let's push my temperature slider a bit further over until it looks natural. There's lots of other ways of getting the white balance right, but I'm going to leave it like that. Otherwise, it'll get really boring for people. But I haven't done any more than that. The most important thing is these two boxes here. Make sure they are ticked and make sure you understand how to remove or defringe your image. And then we're simply going to take that image and place it into Photoshop. And that's it. I'm not going to do any more than that. If I wanted to, a Control and J, Command and J on the Mac, I can press O and I can dodge and burn it. So if I want to, I can come on here and dodge and burn it. But if you are going to dodge and burn it, then basically that means you're going to make the highlights brighter and make the dark areas darker. Go really careful with it. Don't go overboard, because the secret is not to go overboard with it. Otherwise, it'll just look very, very false very, very quickly. And if I've got it here, and one other thing is I'm just going to add the tree. So I added the tree to the image, and I now need to cut this tree out. This is a tree picture that I downloaded. I'll put the credit for this tree that I downloaded down below, so you guys can actually download this tree as well, and you can give this a go. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to rasterize the image. And now I'm going to convert it to black and white. Now this might be a bit strange how I do this, but what I'd like to do is I like to go between ACR and Photoshop an awful lot. So I'm going to press Control Shift and A just to take this one image back into ACR. And when it's in ACR, for me, I'm just going to convert it to black and white by hitting that black and white slider. And now all I'm going to do is push the whites to the right hand side to make the whites really white, blacks to the left hand side, and the shadows to the left hand side. So basically what we're going to end up with there is, if I highlight that there, there you go. So what we're now going to end up with is a perfect black and white image. And then I'm going to click on OK. Not sure if any of you guys have tried this, but just highlight the tree. And if you hit, there's an information symbol. Obviously, I can only, or you can only do this if you're proficient at Photoshop. This isn't really a Photoshop tutorial, hence the reason I'm rushing it. Otherwise, I'd go into this in a lot more detail. But if you click that information button there, go on to properties and click on this button here that says remove background. You can try that. And it's worked, but it hasn't worked very well. So let's undo that. And there's another option. Simply double click on the layer, bring up the properties box, and then we can go to this blend if layer. And then all I'm going to do is grab the white slider and move it towards the black, and then all the white will disappear. Just keep going until it looks normal. Click on OK, and then Control and T to transform it. And I can make it bigger, make it smaller, and I can play around with that till my heart's content. But basically, that's how I created that image. And I'm now free to move that around wherever I want to move it around to. It's as simple as that. And that's the image that I created that I put on my Facebook page. Obviously, if you want to add some color, then you can do. That's easy enough. But yeah, there you go. Probably very uninspiring, but don't think just because we're professionals we do things that you guys probably don't, because that's probably not the case at all. We don't have any magic sliders and buttons that we press. So that is it. All right, okay, so very quickly, let's talk about, and by the way, I'm doing all this and I'm not looking at any notifications. So if you guys are dropping me questions, I can't see them. I do apologize, but I'm going to wrap up in about 5 minutes. So if any of you guys do have any questions, now is a good time to drop them into the comments box. And then once I've done one or two little things that I'm about to do now, I'll then very quickly move in to the comments box and I'll see if there's any questions there that I can answer. Guess the picture quiz. Right. Ooh. I asked you guys, oh my God, I asked you guys earlier on if you knew what all of those 4 products were. Right, let's give you the answers. Right, okay. Let's go desktop full screen. Boom. There you go. So there's the answer to all 4 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1 I thought was very easy. I'm sure everybody got number 1 right. It's just a pull tab on the top of the tin of beans that I used in my video before last. Obviously a Lego. Weetabix was used for number 3. And the one that I'm probably going to get a lot of crap for was Marmite. So the swirl that you saw at number 4 was on the front of our Marmite jar. So I wonder how many of you have got all 4 right. There you go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just a bit of fun. Let me know in the comments below whether you want me to do more of them next week, because I enjoy doing them. They are a bit of fun, but I don't want to waste my time or waste your time. So if you're not keen on me doing that, then I won't bother doing it. And one last thing, just before we do some Q&A, I mentioned earlier on about a way to get magazines for cheap, for free. All right, okay. Right, I'm not sure if any of you guys know how to do this. Let's throw this up on the webcam again. Okay, right. There is a subscription service for people who like to read magazines online, and it's called Readily. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it or if any of you guys actually use it, but if you guys subscribe to magazines, it's really, really, really cheap. It's like £8.99 a month or something, but there are thousands of magazines on there, loads and loads of photography magazines on there, and not only that, it's only £9 a month, but I think you're allowed up to 4 users. So that means you and all your family members can share it between you. So without stating the obvious, I think £8.99 a month, if you shared it between 4 people, it comes out quite literally to pennies, and yet there are thousands of magazines on there, thousands and thousands. At the £7.99, sorry, I can see that anytime and cancel anytime. But at the moment, they're offering this deal whereby you get 2 months for free. So if you want a good recommendation for me, while we've got lots and lots of time on our hands, what I suggest that you could do if you fancied it is sign up to it. It's completely free and get 2 months worth of all of the photography magazines on there that you could possibly wish for. And like I say, it's free for 2 months, but £7.99 a month after that. But by the way, if you subscribe to my channel, if you're one of my members, don't start dumping me for this, please. Right, okay, so there you go. I just thought that I would share that with you. I'm a subscriber. We have it in the house. The wife has it, I have it, my daughter has it, my son has it as well. So we all use it. So I read my magazines on there. And of course, in theory, it just costs pennies between us all. So that is a recommendation to you guys. Right, okay, so before we wrap things up, let me just double check to make sure I haven't missed anything off. Free magazine. No, I think that is everything. So let's come back to the comments. Yes, more next week. Let's have a look at this. Raymond Fitzpatrick, keep doing it. No Marmite in the USA. No one from the USA got the Marmite one. Rick, I'm really sorry. I did say that some of you guys are going to give me some grief. I do apologize about that. As soon as lockdown is over, I want to try street photography. 3 top tips to get me started. Love your stuff. Cheers. Nick, 3 top tips. How can I give you 3 top tips? 3 top tips is do it. Just get out there and do it. Don't worry about the technical side. Shove your camera on automatic and go stay wide. Street photography is all about storytelling. So the one thing I would say to you is don't go there with your long lenses. Go there nice and wide open. There isn't the right and wrong way of doing any of this, by the way, Nick. So it's very difficult to offer advice on it. But when you first go out, people are They're generally nervous. So try and go out there and take an inconspicuous camera and just stay nice and wide. And if you want to shoot from down here as opposed to lifting the camera up to your eye, then just get a sense of it, get a feel for it. But try and do all of that before you give consideration to maybe fine art street photography, for instance. Like Gareth Danks does a lot of fine art street photography, which is fantastic. But you can't get to that stage until you're a proficient photographer or proficient at street photography. So there is my tips. A, just go for it. And B, use an inconspicuous camera and stay wide. Just shoot wide. I think there's more than 3 tips in there. Okay, Doreen, hi Gary, great work. Okay, fantastic. Any future tutorials on lockdown photography? Yes, there will be some future tutorials. I might even do one on Wednesday, I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking about doing this show twice a week, but there's so much going on, and as you could tell earlier on, I'm getting notifications on my phone saying things aren't showing, and it's very, very difficult to try and do all this, especially because there's a delay. I mean, everything you're seeing now is from 30 seconds ago. That's why it's very difficult for me to interact with you guys. Yes, please do more. It's fun. I wonder if anybody got all 4 right, by the way. Hi from Newcastle. No Marmite in the USA. I read that one again. Yes, more next week. Let's have a look. Your top images that you were sent. Okay. Great lad, Gary. Look forward to watching again next week. Well done, mate. Dave Pierce, another proficient photographer. Dave, I'll have to get you on as well, sir, if you don't mind. I want to get you on as a guest photographer, please. Well done, mate. I like those guessing photos. Katerina, thank you very much indeed for saying that. Photo critique. Stephen Watts said photo critique. All right, okay. That's almost like getting a bollocking. Should we do some... Let's do some photo critique then. That's much more exciting than asking me questions, isn't it? Nick Robinson, 1 tip, don't go with Gary. Ask Gareth. Barry is so right. Don't go with me. I always get in trouble when I do street photography. Keep the live show going, mate, after lockdown. I fully intend to. I want to try and develop this, just so you guys know. I've bought lots of equipment. I've even got a mixing desk so I can start using pro microphones and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully it's come across a lot better this week. But I want to try and keep it going. I want to try and get more photographers on as guests. And yeah, and I'm trying to get some features going as well. Maybe you guys might have some suggestions for features. I don't just want to do a Q&A because otherwise that gets boring. So yes, I definitely want to keep this going every Sunday. Brilliant advice. Thanks. You're welcome. No Marmite in Lithuania. Maybe I shouldn't have chosen Marmite then as one of the 4 questions. I do apologise to everybody. I knew I'd get in trouble. I knew it. Hi from Greece. Greece, do you have Marmite? Come back and tell me you have Marmite. By the way, I don't even like Marmite. But the wife does. The wife is known as Paula. She keeps telling me off for saying the wife. Great style. Continue. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Steve. Great too. Okay, right. Let's do some photo critiques. I promise you photo critiques. Let's get up. Boom. Let's get up my desktop. Let's go to live stream. Show number 2. Photos for critique. Okay, I haven't got time to do them all, so I'm really, really sorry if I don't choose your picture. But if I don't choose it this week, I could possibly choose it next week. But a good idea is just send me pictures in if you want me to critique them, and take everything I say with a pinch of salt. In other words, I do know what I'm talking about, but at the end of the day, you know, there's no such thing as a perfect picture. And as long as you're capturing what's in your mind's eye, then that is a perfect picture for you. That's all that counts. Right. Can I say the name? David. Right, let's critique this picture. Let's desktop and webcam. Okay, let's go desktop and webcam. Yeah, so you guys can see this picture. Okay, I like the picture. Everything is exposed for. Really, really nice. Right, David, let me show you what I would do to make this picture better. Now, this is only me. Please don't assume that I'm telling everybody this is what you should do with your picture. If you don't like what I'm about to show you, then fine, okay? I am not going to sit here and say this is what you should do, but watch this. Yeah, okay. Look, the one thing I don't like about this picture, and I'm just being I'm being super critical now. I don't like the way the steps goes down into the water but aims to the left hand side, and the sun, the beautiful sunset, and it's over on the right hand side. So we're getting a bit of a divide, a bit of a split in the image. But if you wanted to, it's really, really easy to rectify. Let's open up my Photoshop. Let me throw this into Photoshop and show you what I would do with this image. This might worry a lot of you, by the way, but at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself the question, what you're trying to achieve in the image and what you're prepared to do to get a nice image. Watch how easy it is to change this image. Right, okay. Control and J to duplicate the layer. Let's come up here to select. Do I have to shrink that down a bit so you guys can see it? Possibly I have to do that so you guys can see it. All right, okay. Let's choose a selection. I'm going to select the bottom half of this image here. I'm going to press Control and C to copy the image. Then I'm going to press Control and V to paste the image. So now, on top of these two layers, I now just have the layer of the water and the steps. Now what I can actually do is if I press Control and T to free transform it, if I come into my selection and right mouse click it, I can flip it horizontal, is that it? I could flip it horizontally. And now if I reintroduce the rest of the picture, if it doesn't quite blend in like it hasn't done up there, then all I can do is add a layer mask. Hopefully you guys can see it, but I'm just adding a layer mask on there. B for my brush tool, and I'm just going to use a nice big soft brush, big brush there, nice big soft brush there, and change the opacity up here to around about 40%, and then just simply paint over to blend it in. And then you can just take your time and blend that in very, very seamlessly, and nobody would be any the wiser. And then you would end up with a picture that looks like that. And in my opinion, that's a much better picture. But I can't stress this enough. I'm only saying in my opinion. But now we've got the stairs going down, or the steps, but now the steps leads the viewer's eye into the sunset, and I think that's much nicer. But that's what I would do. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that's what you should do. It's very difficult, but that's what I would do, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't care how it looked originally. It's about how the image is by the time I finish with it. Okay, so I like that. Let's randomly choose Brian's picture, Brian Willett. Let's have a quick look at this. Nicely exposed. There might be a little bit of clipping just in the top there, Brian, so just watch out for any clipping. It's very important that you don't miss detail. One of my pet hates, and I see it all the time, is missing detail. So skies are blown out and so on and so forth. It's really, really important that you maintain all the detail in the sky area. Okay, so I think I like that picture, Brian, but let's just throw this into Photoshop. And I think honestly that there's a lot of wastage down here. So all I would do with this image, it's just a lot easier to work in ACR. I can't crop it afterwards. Okay, grab the crop tool, and me personally, I would go for a 9:16, and I would just get rid of that wasted bit of the sky down the bottom there. I like it. Compositionally wise, okay, horizon's in the middle, but in this instance the horizon should be in the middle, and it's quite nice, and that's a nice image, nicely exposed. But that's what I would do to make that image nicer. Let's go across here. Watch this one. Okay, let me just explain as well. It's very difficult to critique people's work when you don't know how good a photographer they are. It's a bit awkward. Not everybody who owns a fast racing car is a fast racing car driver. So if you want to rate how good they are at racing their car, then you have to rate them on how good they are first as a racing driver. Does that make sense? What I thought about doing, it's very difficult to do this because people would cheat. I thought about, on my Facebook page, when people post pictures, I would want them to star rate their own skill set. If we were all honest, it would make my life much easier. If I want to critique your work. So in other words, number one, you would rate yourself as number one if you were a complete newbie to photography. I hate that word, but a complete newbie to photography. And in which case I could comfortably rate you as a new photographer and then gently steer you in the right directions. Wherefore, me as a professional photographer, I'd have to say, right, I want you to rate my picture, but I'm a professional photographer. So therefore, in theory, I should be getting everything right in the image. Does that make sense? This person here might have only been into photography for 2 or 3 months, and all of a sudden I don't want to go in with an iron fist, because that wouldn't be fair. But let's just have a quick look at this image. I love this. I love where it is, by the way. It's really, really nice. But a couple of things that's annoying me is this post down here doesn't need to be here, so that post needs to come out. But realistically, it's about what I call fine-tuning. When you took that picture, Demetrius, when you took that picture, if it was possible, just one step forward, or it's length forward, you could have avoided that post that's there. And the only other thing is missing detail in the sky. So missing detail up here in the sky. You need to make sure, if there's one thing you need to learn when you start off as a photographer or into being a photographer, is to make sure you maintain detail in the sky. It's super, super important that you maintain detail in the sky. What you need to assume is, if you were a painter and you sat down there with your paints and your easel and you went to paint that scene, a human being doesn't see anything overexposed. It's impossible for us to see anything overexposed. It's not a natural thing for us to do. So what a painter wouldn't do is sit there and just get his paintbrush and dip it in the white and start doing that all over the sky and showing it as overexposure, because it wouldn't happen. So a painter would sit there and make sure that all that detail was there present in the sky. And we have to do that as photographers. So when you show a picture to somebody and there's missing detail, then that's a badly exposed image. But I love that. Where's that? Is really, really nice. Yeah, those houses and stuff, really nice. Compositionally, it's fine. It's very busy, and I don't like the post going on there. But I think we're certainly on the right track. Let's just open this one up. I am randomly opening these up. I like my woodland photography. I do. Who sent me this? Ellis Wood. I do like this picture, Ellis. It's difficult. I think the two trees in the middle are too much. They're a bit overpowering in the middle. I think if you moved your body ever so slightly just to open them and move closer, then you would actually part them ever so slightly and make them, if they were on the rules of thirds, I think that would work a little bit better. I can see why you've done it, because you've got that lovely tree in the background and you wanted to keep it in the middle. But yeah, fine. That's okay. See, it's really easy to criticize people. It really, really is easy. Ellis again. Oh, how come he's got two in? Yeah, I like this, Ellis. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. Let's zoom in. Don't like to pixel peep, but let's have a look down here. No, I think that's a fair image. Ellis, well done, mate. That's really nice. John Hare, very quickly, moving on. John Hare. Yeah, I like the picture. Just be careful not to over-process your images. It's an easy thing to do, over-processing your images. And the only other thing, John, here is Let me show you. Let's put this into Photoshop, and oh, hang on. You guys should be able to see that. I've got a rules of thirds grid there. If you guys can't see that, let me just add a rules of thirds grid onto here. Okay, I'm a great believer in rules of thirds. I really am a great believer in rules of thirds. So what you've done here then, John, is you've placed that lighthouse perfectly on that top left-hand side rules of thirds, which is brilliant. By the way, a lot of people, oh, Gary, don't start talking about rules of thirds. Absolutely talk about rules of thirds. If you don't believe in rules of thirds, perfectly fine. But there's a reason why they've been invented. I didn't invent them, and they've been around for hundreds of years. But rules of thirds will really help you balance the image. So I like that. The one thing I don't like, John, is I don't like, is that Penmon Lighthouse? The one thing I don't like this island here. Is it Puffin Island if it's Penmon Lighthouse? In other words, that needs or should have been, it's peeping, it's too much on the edge. So if you wanted to perfect that shot, I'd go back and make sure you set your camera up so you would include a little bit more of that island, or just do it in Photoshop. That's my suggestion. But again, I am being very, very picky. Very, very picky. Nice shot, nicely exposed, no missing detail. Love what you've done with the sea. Love all your 10 stop. So let's just try one more. Let's try one more. What's that one? Who's that one? Vinny. Okay. Another great example. Let's throw this into Photoshop. Bang that on there. Let's get rid of that there. Let's, oh, I want to go 90 degrees. There you go. All right. This is a perfect example of rules of thirds. That's a great shot. It's a very difficult shot to take. Shot up into the sky. Obviously, I'm guessing he's cropped that in post-production, which is perfectly fine, but there's no real missing detail. You've got a wonderful storyline, as in you can see the whole vapor trail. So we're storytelling in that image as well. And we've got the aircraft up and flying back into the frame. And of course, Vinny has set them on the top right-hand side, aiming back down into the left-hand side, into the negative space in the frame. So that is absolutely spot on. And you've done well to maintain the detail in the sky there as well. That couldn't have been an easy thing to do, Vinny. Let's do one more, then let's do one more, And I am just looking, randomly choosing. Let's choose this one here. No idea what this one's like. Who sent this one? Neil Catley. Thanks for sending these in, by the way, guys. All right, Neil. Nicely exposed. I'm glad I chose this one. Yeah, I just don't think it's storytelling wise. I just don't think it's strong enough. I'm actually looking around the image trying to find something of interest. Neil, sorry about that, but the most important thing is you need a point of interest. Even though it's a lovely shot taken at night, got rules of thirds in there, so you've placed them quite nice. I like what you've done with the buildings, but at the end of the day, it's just not it's not a very exciting picture. Sorry. Could I make it more exciting? I don't know. I'll possibly grab my crop tool and maybe go for something like that. That might be something that perhaps I would prefer. I might have preferred an image that looked like that, because now these posts sit better on the rules of thirds, but still the lamp there is right in the middle of the frame, and it shouldn't be. But more importantly than that is it's just not very exciting. Sorry about that, but Neil, sorry about that, mate. I'm really sorry. I think I've covered everything. Let's go back into... Where am I? Right, okay. Back into the comments for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then we'll call it a day. In Russia, even an excuse of female... What? In Russia, even an excuse of female photographers. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing you don't have many female photographers in Russia either. That needs to change. Any girls out there? Come on. We need more girls. Get out with your camera. Is there any way we could send you images live on the night? It's a good question, Raymond. Yes, there is. I might do it next week if you want to. But the problem is my interaction, as I keep mentioning with you guys while we're live now, my interaction is happening in a delayed fashion. It's happening 30 seconds afterwards. And not only that, but I'm trying to talk to camera whilst trying to make a note or read comments that are coming up. And it's a very difficult thing to do. So let's very quickly... let's keep going through these comments. Sorry I'm late. Fell asleep in the bath. Richard Molt. He fell asleep in the bath. Good on you, Rich. What else is there to do on a bank holiday weekend apart from fall asleep in the bath? I'm not complaining about that at all. In about half an hour's time from now, this will be up on YouTube, so you can rewind and catch up if you so wish, because you've missed an awful lot. It's been a fantastic show. It really has. Okay, Doreen Hart, not sure why there's not many women photographers. In our small camera club of around 40 members, there are only 4. So there you go. Relatively speaking, or percentage-wise, that's pretty similar. Don't know. Would you say it's a more manly thing to do? I'm not saying there aren't any female photographers. There's wonderful female photographers. There are. But I'm just trying to get my head around why. I mean, lots of wedding photographers, well, even wedding photographers, I bet the ratio of men to women is so much higher, even when it comes to wedding photographers. But newborn baby photographers, they're all women. But that doesn't mean to say that that's what you have to do if you're a woman at all. Absolutely not. But likewise, if you go to Old Trafford to watch football on a Saturday afternoon, I'm guessing all the photographers around the edges are possibly all men. I don't know, by the way, so don't shout at me. But yeah, that needs to change. Susan, back in the 70s, it was a female photographer who taught me everything I know now. She was brilliant. Calvin Jones, cheers. Oh yeah, like I said, I'm really stressing. I'm not saying there aren't any female photographers. There's lots of excellent female photographers. There just needs to be more. Demetrius, I appreciate the CC. Gary, that picture was from the Faroe Islands. You should go there if you have not done already. I haven't been there, Demetrius, but I fully intend to go there. Hi, everyone from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Cheers, Keith. You're late. 4 cans of Stella and I'm still here. Congrats, Gary. Cheers, Barry. Only 4 women in my camera club of around 40. Yeah, I've already mentioned that. Really enjoy this show. Keep it going. Great show. Dave, thank you very much indeed. And thank everybody for your support. A lot of females in Wales, Gary. David, I'm not saying there aren't females. Phew. How many female photographers are there? Or is that what you're saying? I don't know. Jason's still here. I think women prefer... Oh, do you know what? I stopped myself reading Jason's comment then, just in case it was going to be sexist or something. If you know Jason Jones, you'll understand what I mean. But no, he's actually been very, very intelligent there. I think women prefer wedding and portrait photography. Well, yes, possibly. But like I said, I love my wedding photography. We do an awful lot of weddings each year. And every time I bump into other wedding photographers, more often than not, they're male. So that has to change. I teach wedding photography, so a lot of the courses that we run, but I would say 75% of the attendees are male, even on my wedding photography courses. Let's do one more. Talk about female photographers. Kim, we'll have to get you on the show. I think the technical gear aspect of photography puts a lot of women off, or has in the past. When I started, I concentrated on the creative side of it and slowly learnt the technical side. I think, well, I don't want to say you're right, because that might sound a bit condescending to women, but yeah, it's a woman that said that. It wasn't me. Hi, Kim, by the way. I should have started off by saying hi, Kim. Hi, Kim. Kim Grant is another YouTuber, a female vlogger. Kim, do me a favor, send me a PM, my lovely, because I want to get you on the show if I can. Maybe we'll do that in a couple of weeks' time from now. But Kim, please send me a PM. I'd love to get you on the show. Right, that is it. Let's wrap it up there, guys. Otherwise, I'll just talk for the sake of talking. But I want to try and add more structure to the Sunday event, because if I can do this every Sunday and if I can keep it structured rather than me just reading out comments, which is brilliant, by the way, but that would get very boring for me to do that for an hour and a half on the screen. I'm sure you guys would be bored of it too. But I want to start adding some more tuition. So let me know if there's anything or any ideas for maybe things I could add. But I certainly want to keep going with the interviews as well and my video recommendations of the week. Maybe you guys have got video recommendations as well. That would be great if you could maybe email me. All email and correspondence, gary@garygough.co.uk. If you want to send me some more pictures for CCing as well, that would be fantastic. And sorry if I didn't get to your image that you've asked me to CC. I'm really sorry. But next week, I've already lined up. It's a photographer who shoots a lot of wildlife photography as well as landscape photography, and he lives around about where the Tetons are. I'm not quite sure where that is, but yeah, he's a wonderful guy, and I've known him for a long time, and I'm a massive fan of his channel. That is a big channel now, so I'm super excited for him. He's doing so well. Right, guys, so let's draw the whole thing to a close. Well done, Gary. Can't wait till next. Thank you very much indeed. So a lot of positive comments on there, and do you know what? That means an awful lot to me. If you have written something and I've missed it, I do apologize. I'll sit down, I'll go through my comments as well once we're done, and if I need to reply to everybody, I will do. Lynne Luxun-Jones, thank you very much indeed for being on the show, Lynn. Although thanks for choosing to talk to me whilst you've got a flaming flat battery on your laptop. That's really helped me out no end. Thanks, Lynn. That's it, guys. Thank you very much indeed. Listen, have yourself a great weekend. It's bank holiday weekend. Nobody's got any work. Yes, that was a joke because most of us aren't working. Thanks for your continued support. I'll see you maybe throughout the week, or I'll see you next week. Cheers, guys. From the bottom of my heart. Stay home, stay safe, as they say. And thank you very much indeed for everything you're doing for me by supporting the channel. Cheers, guys. Thank you. This is my bumbly bit now while I come up here and switch my stream off. Cheers, guys. Thank you. I'm going to say, what's my daughter put? I better read with my daughter. Thanks for entertaining us. See you next week. That's from my